Yeah. Hey. Hey. All right. Hey. Yeah, I mean.
So we about to take off.
Hey. Please do remain calm. About to run the game, spitting with a little bit of soul, no times.
Yes, sir. Welcome to the Please Remain Calm podcast.
And we're back.
We are back. We had a hiatus, a couple weeks off, and basically,
Hey, man.
yeah,
We needed it. Oh, I needed it at least.
Yeah. But here's the thing. This was a pretty ambitious idea for a show, I guess, starting off.
For two random dudes.
We kind of aimed big on this one.
Hold on. Before we get into it, can we, at the very beginning, because we always forget this, the thoughts and things said here are our own thoughts, their own opinions. They do not reflect those of the Los Angeles City Fire Department or the LA County Department of Health Services. Let's get that out of the way.
Way to remember that at the beginning.
Before we get into this, man, I think we gotta make sure we do that from now on. But go ahead.
I'm gonna say we probably ended the last 3 shows with that.
Oh yeah, definitely. It gets said.
Yeah.
It gets said. But I want to start off with that, especially when we're free-forming it like this, like we're doing today.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But go
Flying
ahead.
by the seat of our pants.
Ambitious. It was an ambitious. It is an ambitious idea.
Yeah, because each of us could have done our own podcast, or we're asked to do a podcast with other people. We've been guests on podcasts, and we didn't want to just be 2 dudes talking, or talking about the news or movies or some shit.
Like 1,000 other podcasts out there.
Yeah, and not to knock those. If you're killing it with a podcast like that, fucking more power to you, man. That's all we're trying to do is be like you.
Yeah.
But we wanted to have a concept that we thought nobody had, and we nailed that.
Oh yeah,
High five to us.
Concepts.
Boom.
We're good at concepts.
All right. But the actual meat and potatoes execution of finding somebody every week that got fucked up in some way and then wants to come in and talk about it.
It's tough, man.
Yeah.
It's tough for a couple of reasons. First of all, obviously you only know so many people that have had something happen to them, right?
Yeah, or that know someone.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, obviously I have patients and stuff that like have, that, like I can think back to hundreds of patients I've had over the years that have had crazy shit happen to them.
But you can't just reach out.
Yeah, man. I'm not, hey, remember me? I'm that paramedic that took care of you on the worst day of your life. You know what I mean? Would you mind coming in and talking to, a couple thousand people over the radio about it or whatever, It's an odd conversation to have. And even if you have somebody that you can ask that question to, or like the guests that we've had or the guests that we have lined up for the next few weeks here, sometimes it's hard for those people to talk about the situation that we're going to talk about.
It is. And see, that's the thing too. Like for other people's stories, we could tell. Yeah, we have a ton of them. We've been witness to all kinds of crazy ass shit.
Yeah.
But it's still other people's stories. So it's not the same as having them come in, to tell it rather than us tell it secondhand.
And part of it is having the different points of view. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
It's that age-old concept where you could have 4 different people tell the same story, and you'll get 4 different renditions of the same story. You know what I mean? So
that's the thing that when this show hits, that's what sets it apart. Is that you get those perspectives, and you're not really getting that anywhere else.
Correct.
So that's why we've had interesting stuff, and that's the edge that we're trying to keep every time. But again, it's finding the actual bodies.
Yeah, and so that's like kind of the battle that you and I have kind of back and forth is like, do we put out a weekly show, even though not every show is going to have like the ultimate concept that we had envisioned to begin with? Is it more important to have a weekly show out, or is it more important to wait until we have a guest,
Yeah. And the thing is too, is like, while we have these guests, we're also setting up people getting used to our banter. You know what I mean? We tell our stories and shit too, but we're not going to do week in, week out stories of us growing up. You know what I mean? What the fuck are we?
Gather around kids.
Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like what led to the hiatus. It was going to be like a week break, and then we had a couple of guests that we had lined up fall through. I mean, we'll still get them on, but
that's the thing too, man. Scheduling with people, you know what I mean? And then I work full time. My Bernie, my wife, just started working. Graduated SC and started working. We both have kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we both have full-time jobs.
Yeah, like to begin with, there's only like 4 or 5 days out of the month period that we can even try to record.
That our schedules line up properly.
So then we got to get guests that are also free those days that want to come in, or Skype. I mean, we try to get people to come in. that are willing to come in and can get lined up on those days.
It's harder than it seems, folks, is what we're getting at. Like,
right.
Like it's beautiful when it all comes together and we get a great guest and we're putting a show out that we want every week. But then all, obviously the farther we go along, the harder it is to get to find guests and stuff like that. So we're working on it, man. We're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, if you want to be like a booking intern, hit us up. Contact prcpod@gmail.com.
We can only pay you in large or extra large T-shirts.
Exposure, homie. You know what I mean? Get your name out there.
So what's new, man? We haven't recorded since the Dodgers won the World Series.
Yeah, that happened.
That happened, and
that was a doozy. Turner got COVID positive in what they say, like the 8th inning.
Yeah, they pulled him out in the 8th.
In the 8th,
they pulled him out in the 8th. Put him in isolation.
When did they get the results though? That's the whole controversy is like,
I don't know. And then
how was that testing working, and what would have happened in Game 7?
And then everyone's pissed that that he went back out for the celebration, but it's like the guy fucking played. Sorry, Mom. The guy played 8 innings with these people. You know what I mean? And then we just had PD over for dinner the other night. The bubble, the like family bubble, everybody's in the same hotel. You know what I mean? Like his wife Courtney, she tested negative, but everybody
whoever was exposed was already exposed.
Yeah, they had already been
is
exposed.
What you're saying, yeah.
So I don't know, man. You work at something probably from when you're 5 years old till however old he is. You know what I mean? Like with any sport, but baseball especially is so much like hand-eye coordination, timing, and everything. That's all stuff that gets accumulated over years and years and years of playing baseball. You know what I mean? Like from T-ball on up, if you took 5 years off of baseball, you're not going to be as good as you were 5 years ago, you know? So to do all that, to work your entire career up to this one goal of winning a World Series, and then they pull you out in the 8th inning and you can't celebrate with your team. I think the
World Series you finally get to win too.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Ripped off of the other two. Yeah,
I think all the Dodger players that have like come to his to say that they've got his back, that they wanted him out there and stuff like that. That's how I would feel if I had a teammate that was out there playing with me the whole freaking game. You know,
like it was a bad look, but it's also fucked up that he had to be in a position where he had to make that choice to have a bad look.
And then when you read about it, they just came out and like Major League Baseball said there's not going to be any, discipline for him or anything. And he came out with the statement. It was like a series of like people not fully doing their job properly. If you really wanted to isolate someone and they were really, really strict about their isolation procedures and all that stuff, it was a series of people making
getting the results during the game.
Yeah.
There had to be a lapse there somewhere.
Exactly.
How is that the system?
Exactly. Yeah. So. Hey, man, I love JT. I don't know if you guys aren't all from LA, but JT does a lot for like the community, and he has a big charity guy. Yep. He spends a lot of time,
Children's Hospital,
just doing things for the community and stuff like that. He's a great human being, and his wife, by all accounts, the same way. So I don't feel, I'm not upset
wish him well
about it at all. What else, man?
Let's see. What else happened since we were gone? Oh, yeah. There was an election.
Oh, yeah.
That happened.
Ding dong, man.
That was another episode that we didn't wind up releasing that we thought was going to fill the gap of where we didn't have a guest.
Yeah.
And that kind of went off the rails. They did go off the rails, but like we're not a political show. So if we start going in and just trying to talk about politics.
Well, here's the thing is... And I'm still down to do a show like that if we stay specific to like a couple little key points, because any one thing, any one issue in the current political climate is an hour-long podcast.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like you can't. We
didn't wrangle it in enough.
Yeah,
is what we're saying.
It was kind of convoluted a little bit, and we're trying to talk about too many things at once, so it didn't really hit the way we thought it was going to.
Yeah. It's not as easy as you think to be like an Anderson Cooper show or some shit.
No,
rain that shit in.
I think if we had like a freaking weekly political podcast, we could pick one issue and talk about it. I mean, we're both educated enough and stay current enough on current events and have our own opinions on things.
And we wouldn't run out of guests. Especially
with me being, and it's somewhat the same with you at DHS, but or at the MAC, but
yeah, we were split 50-50 down the middle.
No shit.
Yeah.
See, I'm like a freaking unicorn at the fire station, dude. There's me and there's probably like maybe 4 or 5 other guys that are friends of mine that what you would consider liberal, air quotes, firefighters.
Yeah, and you're at a more chill state. You're not at like a MAGA station.
Way more chill.
Yeah.
But it's still Fox News on TV all day long. And there after the election,
there
still was a shouting match. Not on my shift, but everyone got talked to at lineup. Hey, the chief put out a memo saying that there aren't to be any political arguments. Respect everybody's blah 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 blah.
Really?
Because it's like I've said 100 times on here, man. The fire department is a very conservative organization, and I guess we talked about it on that episode that we didn't air, but there's bubbles. There's media bubble. Everybody has their own media bubble.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're a firefighter, you're supposed to be in the Fox News, OAN, racist Facebook media bubble.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And that's where you get all your shit from. And when you're fed that, every opportunity you have to look up news, that's the way you're going to think.
That's all you're going to think. Yeah.
So, for any of you that follow me on social media, you know where I stand politically. I mean, I post things on my story all the time. You know how I feel about our current soon-to-be ex-president. So the election happening and it going down the way it did, it's kind of funny, man, because I was working election night. We're anticipating being held over the next day because, and if you drove around the city and really cities across the country,
boarded up,
everything's boarded up.
Yeah, we had the same thing. We had an open MCI for civil unrest.
Yeah,
it's actually supposed to be. It's still open now.
Yeah,
they're not letting us close it because everything's still can pop off at any moment. Yeah,
but it depends where you get your news from.
Exactly,
how up in the air it is.
Right,
because Newsmax, Fox. OAN, all those, although they're still
nothing's
acting,
over for them.
They're still acting like this thing was stolen, and this thing is way up in there. He has a path to winning, which he doesn't.
Fox is a little bit split. It depends on which show you're watching and who you're watching. The other networks, though, they're 100% fall in line, dude.
I mean, Fox has, that's the thing about Fox is they have, like Tucker and Hannity and Ingram. Those are all opinion shows. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're not news. They're disguised as news shows. They got the little box on the side here, with the stories and everything, and they suit and tie and all that stuff. They look like news. Yeah. It's not news, man.
It's the same shit with the other networks.
Even Fox's news division is still not so much as their opinion shows, but they're still kind of pushing that there's a chance that these legal arguments that the Trump administration is putting forth are going to do anything to help him win. It's not, dude. And then I got people that I follow that, that are family or friends, because I can be friends with people that, that support the other side. But they'll post stuff like, remember when Gore thought he won for however many days, and it's like, dude, this is nothing like Bush v. Gore, dude, nothing. Yeah. I mean, that was a recount, and basically what came down to like 2 counties in Florida. This is 4 separate states that he's winning by a lot. Yeah,
tens of thousands.
So it is what it is, man.
Yeah.
But it's just like anything else. Like the day after the election, it didn't get called. I shut the thing off, right? Because it looked like Trump was going to win. And I'm just like, fuck, holy shit, man. We are screwed.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm putting the phone down. I'm going to go to sleep. We'll just see what the hell happens.
I was up to like 2.
Because, but I also knew that there was a lot of mail-ins, you know what I mean? Mail-in ballots, that the mail-ins are going to favor the Democrats, that he's been pumping to his people, don't do mail-in ballots. They're not fair, all this shit, right? So I knew it was going to come down to a day or 2 later. And sure enough, woke up in the morning and he had flipped Wisconsin and Michigan and stuff. And so it was like, oh, shit. All right, cool. And then as it went along, it was like clear that Biden was going to win. And I kind of figured that if Biden won, it wasn't going to be that bad as far as like unrest. I think if Trump had won, that it would have been a lot crazier. And mostly, and my conservative friends, my Fox News watchers will say, oh, yeah, well, that's because Antifa, is fucking, doesn't mind taking over cities and smashing windows and all that shit. Okay. It's
wild,
more like
though.
4 million more people are sick of this fool. You know what I mean? And he's done so much to suppress the vote, so much that goes against what our democracy is supposed to be, that if he were to win, I think the boiling over would have been not only just 4 years of all the shit that we've been dealing with and just the decimation of norms and traditions and, pulling us out of every freaking agreement that we've had internationally, you know what I mean? Really ruining our reputation as far as making agreements with other countries, with foreign affairs deals and stuff.
There's a long list.
Yeah. But it would have been a culmination of all that. Oh, and now 4 million more people voted for the other guy, but you still won. That's when it would have blown over and blown up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it went the way it should have gone.
Yeah, totally.
And you can count the shit 4 or 5 times if you want. It's still going to turn out the same way. What I was worried about was seeing the people that were celebrating, and I was just like, please don't fucking celebrate. And all it takes is one idiot throwing a rock through a window where a celebration, you know what I mean, pops off. And that's day one psychology shit, mob mentality. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Just don't let that happen, please. And it didn't.
Yeah.
Even the places where, like on Abbot Kinney, there was people all up and down Abbot Kinney in the streets and stuff like that, but it was all joyful. It was all, pleasant, safe.
Couple things going back to what you were saying before. One, it's wild to me that you can be a member of like a humongous city fire department, like one of the biggest cities in the world, and buy into thinking that Antifa is burning your city every day.
Yeah.
When you work for the literal fire department that would be responding if there were these riots every day, and you would definitely know with your own eyes. Yeah. And you see that that's not happening, but you still believe that that's a thing. You know what I mean? That's crazy. But then also, you saying that the chief is putting out, a memo for no political discussions.
Yeah.
So that means that there's not so much like that you're just the only unicorn. There's like there's enough for there to be a discourse in the department.
Yeah.
Where there could
must be.
Like you said, there were shouting matches.
Yeah, there must be. I mean, even, I think even.
It's not a monolith.
Let's say this. I don't think it's rare to have somebody with the more of a liberal mindset on the fire department. I think it's more rare to have somebody with a more liberal mindset on the fire department that speaks up about it.
Yeah.
Because it's much easier to walk into a room where everyone's bitching about how fucked up Obama was
and
how Biden's a piece of shit and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And Fox News is on and there's 5 guys in there talking the same shit. And it's easier to just turn around and walk back out and go to the TV room or go upstairs and read a book or something like that. I'm finally to a point where I'll just sit there and listen and I'll go, really? That's what you think? Well, what about this? And then we get into a whole back and forth.
Yeah.
And then it turns into a 3-hour conversation, in the kitchen. And that can go really well or it can go really bad. You know what I mean? So really depends on the station, the people that are in the argument. I can definitely see how it can devolve into a shouting match. It has, and anytime I see somebody getting upset about it, I go, whoa, dude, what are you getting upset about? You're yelling, you're screaming, take a breath, calm down. It's okay, Then that usually pisses people off more. Tell me to
for sure.
Call, you know what I mean? So those conversations are touchy, dude, just in regular life. You know what I mean?
You personally, since Election Day, back at work, smooth sailing?
Smooth sailing.
I haven't heard a word.
For me, I haven't heard shit. Dude.
I haven't heard a word. I've heard people complaining that people were complaining when I'm not there.
Yeah.
But when I'm there,
nothing, man.
Nobody says shit.
And I'm not gloating about anything. I'm not shoving it in anyone's face because, in all honesty, man, we're still not in a good fucking spot.
Yeah.
We're still not. And in my opinion, Biden was the 5th best candidate in that group of candidates out there.
That's how I'm trying to tell other people, like, if anything, he's going to have it worse because he's got 70 million people that think he's the devil.
Yeah.
And then there's, out of the people that voted for him, half of them don't like him either. They just didn't like Trump.
The thing that pisses me off, dude, is the Democratic Party over the last couple of elections has stuck their nose in democracy. You're the Democratic Party. Let democracy happen. Let people vote for who they're going to vote for. Don't plan this whole day before Super Tuesday thing where everybody drops out and endorses Biden, even though he's in 5th place and was really laughable as a candidate before that happened, just so you can screw the more progressive, everybody dropped out except Warren, who was the other progressive, to split the progressive vote, and everyone you know what I mean, endorsed Biden.
Right.
And so he won on Super Tuesday. It's like,
yeah.
They're so frightened of what inevitably is going to be the future of this country. Inevitably, whether it's now or 100 years from now. At some point, you're going to realize, oh shit, this climate change thing is out of control. It's the only way
there is to be a future of the country.
Exactly, man.
Yeah. And then Warren did all that, and then she's not even going to be in the cabinet. Did it for nothing.
It's infuriating, dude, to be honest with you. Like,
because they're already back to it now. They're already back to shit.
Exactly, man.
We won. Okay, back to what we were doing before. It sucks.
Even Republicans that were voicing, like Democratic talking points, like Kasich and stuff, talking shit about progressives. Well, all the progressives won their elections, man. Yeah.
And the districts that swung because of
exactly, man. And I don't know, man. Progressive ideas are popular ideas if you champion them, if you put the information out about why they're good ideas, about how they're going to work in a future America, about how they're going to create jobs. You know, I can't even tell you how many.
More so, the arguments against them are mostly horseshit.
Yeah, they're mostly horseshit.
You can poke holes in them immediately.
You can poke holes in them, and they're only there to keep norms, to keep people getting paid the way they've been getting paid for over a century.
Mm-hmm.
So
off the backs of everybody else.
I'm happy that that Trump is out. That every single person that he has in the positions he has them in are going to be gone, and we're gonna. In that sense, Biden is good in the sense that he'll be good at righting the ship. You know what I'm saying? He'll be good for getting us back to upright and going down the right highway.
So 5 years ago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we got 4 years of that, and then hopefully we get a little bit more progressive after that.
That's what we need, because 5 years ago got us to the last 4 years.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, man. And really, ultimately, like, of course, I voted for Biden and Harris, but really I'm voting for whoever he puts in cabinet positions. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I was voting to get rid of who's there.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So we'll see what happens, man. I've got my vision of what how I think is the best way that it all moves forward.
Yep.
But we'll see what happens.
This is a start.
Yeah.
Better than it not being the case.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's what we were trying to do, that episode that we didn't air.
Yeah.
And now we're getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do a whole one.
Yeah. There you go. Party.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But yeah, man. I have a sense. I already have a sense that everything is kind of settling down, and I had a theory about that beforehand, man. I felt like even the Trumpsters that were rah-rahing for Trump, I got a feeling that everybody just is tired of the fucking turmoil. You know what I mean? And just wants to, even the ones that don't want to admit it. It's when you hear Biden speak. You know what I mean? Even just a speech about how he's going to, about getting his pandemic response team together and all that stuff, and about how we're going to address it moving forward, is calming. It's not, it's not this big blustering thing about how famous he is and about all these other people that are doing him wrong and shit. It's just, hey, this is what we're going to do. And that's it. I'm putting these professionals in charge of doing this. Yeah. Even that, just simple straightforwardness is calming. It's nice to fucking hear. And I'm not the only one. I can't be the only one that feels that way when I hear it. You know what I mean? There's got to be people on the other side that feel that way too. But yeah, man, it is what it is. We'll see how it plays out.
Yep. Calming's nice. I just don't want to be bullshitted.
Exactly.
Yep. So
what else, man?
We still have topics for this episode, though. Things that we never talked about before.
Yeah. What do you want?
Our own personal injuries. Yeah. We have ourselves gone to the ER and not shared these tales. Sometimes as kids, sometimes as adults.
Yeah.
I haven't had anything too fucking crazy happen to me, luckily.
Yeah.
My car accident was probably the worst, but I have an NDA on that.
So shut up.
Yeah. Right?
So thanks for bringing that up.
That's a hot story that I can't talk about.
I've had a few. I'm a pretty healthy guy to begin with. And it's funny, man, like we go on so many calls, and I'd say a solid 20% of all the calls I've ever been on were probably legit, like you needed a paramedic calls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I can't tell you how many times I show up to a run and I'm like, you called 911 for this, man? You know what I mean? I'm thinking that in my head. And sometimes I'll even say it. You know, we get a call on our overdose call. Most frequent overdose call is edibles, right? Weed edibles. And it's like, you know,
they call on themselves,
or their friends will call because they won't get up or whatever. Well, I've had on the beach down by the water, you know,
these are adults
in the sand. Yeah, man. A 30-year-old, 280-pound dude just laid out on a blanket, and they're like, he won't get up. And I'm like, hey, man, what's going on? Oh, so, man. Hey, dude, you're 280 pounds. What'd you take? Oh, I took a brownie, man. Okay, bro. You need to take a deep breath, man up, and stand up. And we're gonna walk out of here because I cannot carry you
dude,
on a
kidding?
backboard across all this sand.
The fucking beach.
You got to get up and walk, right? Shit like that, you know. Or hey, I've been my knee's been hurting for how long's your knee been hurting? Oh, about 4 months. Okay. It's 2:00 in the morning on a Thursday. Like, what made you call this morning? Oh, I just can't take it anymore.
Yeah. I had that once where a guy was constipated and it was 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And he's like, I haven't pooped for like 2 weeks.
Yeah. My stomach hurts. Okay. Yeah. Did you try this?
2 weeks, dude.
Did you try this? You know, I start listing down the things that I would have done if it was my.
Yeah.
And then there's some where people just don't know, you know what I mean? That they're scared about it. Like if your kid, like new parents and their kid spikes a fever or something like that.
Yeah.
We actually just had
but you're not showing up to those like, what the fuck?
No. But still, like just things that really didn't need a 911 call.
Yeah.
Like there's classes and stuff, kid classes where you could have, you know, gotten some instruction on what to do if your kid has a fever or whatnot.
Yeah, that's true.
But did I tell you we ran to Wella and Wello's house?
Yeah,
the people that live in there.
Yeah.
So they called, you know, and I saw the address. I'm like, oh shit, you know, and we should pull up. And it's my grandma and our grandma and grandpa who live with our parents now because they're old. And my grandpa's on hospice and whatnot. But their house that they own in Venice, that my dad rents out for them to this family, and they have a newborn, a couple months old. But we get there and the kid had a fever, you know what I mean? And so a lot of what we do, man, is education.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
Hey, this is what I have little ones at home, and really just putting people at ease. Ultimately, that's, I think, the most effective part of my job is putting people at ease, man. You don't realize how much stress affects your patient, you know? So like, for instance, even if I have somebody who's having chest pain, right? And they're like legit left-sided chest pain, 8 out of 10, it's radiating into my arm. I can feel it in my jaw, all this stuff, right? And you can see they're, you know, and they're worked up about it. The first thing I always tell people is, you know, ma'am, if, you know, I'll walk up, introduce myself. My name's Danny. I'm one of the paramedics. You know, what's going on? Oh my God, this and this and this came out of nowhere. And it was, okay, ma'am. First thing I want you to do is try to relax. Take some deep breaths and relax. I am not going to let anything bad happen to you. Okay? I'm going to take care of you. I'm good at what I do. Try to relax a little bit. And you can see visibly their stress level calm way, way, way down after I tell them that. And it's the same thing with parents with kids. Hey, you know, I've got 2 little ones at home. She's going to be fine. This is what we're going to do. We're going to take all these 3 pairs of pajamas and socks and bib and blanket off this baby that's sick.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm going to educate you why that's a bad idea. Why your baby had a seizure.
Yeah.
It's not because she has a seizure disorder. It's because you're piling all these clothes on them because you think they're cold because they're shivering because they have a fever. Yeah. But educating. It's that calm. And it's just the same when you're at the hospital and a doctor comes in.
Yeah.
If the doctor's scatterbrained and he's got stains on his jacket and you are not going to be put at ease, and he doesn't know,
of course not.
He hasn't looked at your chart, he's flipping through it while you're there, as opposed to the doctor that comes in, okay, hey, I reviewed your chart and he's got a tie on and he looks nice and he speaks well. And
right.
So yeah, I use a lot of my experiences, like life experiences with medical issues and problems and going to the hospital and stuff like that, in my everyday, you know, calls that I run.
Yeah. So us growing up, our mom never called 911. There was one time I think she called the non-emergency, but that's also because our dad would have been in her shit about it. You know what I mean? Because you're not supposed to really call 911. But
wait, what's the time you're thinking of?
The time I'm thinking of is when Chris got
earring?
our cousin got his ear pierced, right?
Yeah.
And he got like a piece of the earring, like was it the backing?
The stud. No, the stud itself went, like the front part of the stud went into it. It was stuck in his earlobe.
Yeah, it got stuck in his hole.
Yeah. And so mom called, and it had to have been 62, showed up.
Yeah, it was. I don't know what she was expecting them to do, though.
I don't either.
Now that I think about it, like, I don't know why we didn't go to the ER for that then.
And they didn't do anything. They were just
they told her to go to the ER.
There's nothing we can do about this.
Yeah.
But then the guys are like looking, and see fire department and stuff. Oh, who's on the job? And it's like, she was like, nah, smart fire wife.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I'm not going to, because my dad would have never heard the end of it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? But
that's really the only blemish on her record of not calling, though.
Yeah.
And she kind of threw it away for...
I think she called when that crazy lady was banging on the door, remember?
Oh, she called the cops,
Yeah, she called the cops.
That's
cops
right.
showed up. Some crazy lady banging on our front door at 2 a.m.
And we got the cops when the dude pulled the gun on Dad.
Yeah, that was Inglewood.
Yeah, it was Inglewood. Yeah.
That's a crazy story. I was just talking about that the other day.
Yeah.
There's like ponies that you can ride at Griffith Park, right? And so my dad used to take us all the time. And I went with him to get some cash because it's cash only, and he pulled up to back into the driveway of our house. I just drove by there and took a picture of the house the other day too. It's crazy how it looks like exactly.
Yeah, I know. It looks the same, dude. It's so weird.
Same barn, garage, all that stuff.
I mean, our other house tore down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as he was backing in this truck, like almost acts like it's gonna run into him, right? Because he's backing in. So my dad's like stops. I'm in the front passenger seat. And he starts talking shit to this guy, and they get out. My dad shoves him on his truck, and they pretty much get in a scuffle, but no, like, actual punches were thrown. Right. Dad had him by his throat and everything, and the guy jumps up, runs around, gets in his truck, and takes off. We park, and Dad goes in. He must have said, "I'll be back," or something like that, because Dad went and got that axe handle out of the garage and was waiting in the front. And this guy, here he goes, comes back with his truck, jumps out with a fucking shotgun.
Yep.
Points it right at our dad, started talking shit. My dad's just kind of standing there. He talks his shit, and then, gets back in his truck and takes off.
Yeah. Dad just stared him down, though, like he didn't like back off or like nothing, dude. He's like, what are you going to do?
It added to the mystique of my dad being a badass.
And then it was funny, too, because this is Inglewood in 1983, I want to say. Like,
because we moved in 85, I think.
Yeah. And we had neighbors. All of our neighbors were white.
Yeah.
In Inglewood.
The hillbillies.
There were like 3 white families, and then one were like hillbillies, dude. Like they wore fucking overalls. They were their name Aldrich, I think.
Yeah. Overalls, no shirts.
Yeah. Dude.
Yeah, beards.
And those dudes, they came right over and were like, "We get our guns right now."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Got you.
Like, yeah, dude. They had my dad's back, man. They all had rifles and shit, and they were ready for this dude to come back, man.
Trip me out.
Yeah, that
whole
crazy.
experience, like, it was like, what the hell just happened? I just remember thinking that, like, what is going on? Is this for real?
Yeah, that was
because when he came back with the gun, I remember we were looking through the window in the front.
I wrote down that dude's license plate.
Oh, you did?
I remember that. Yeah, the cops got him, dude.
Yeah,
they went to his house.
Yeah. Well, his wife showed up later too.
Yeah.
That was a trip, man. That little corner in Inglewood was an eventful little corner for us, because then there was a time there was a car fire across the street, remember?
Yeah, I remember that, dude.
And we used to watch Dukes of Hazzard like religiously.
Yeah.
That was
it was during Dukes of Hazzard. Yeah. That's right.
And our mom was in the back bedroom on the phone, and we hear this like explosion. We look outside, and right across the street, like catty corner from the house, there's this car fully involved.
Yeah.
And we're like 4 and 6, probably something
and
like that.
We're trying to tell our mom.
Yeah, we
and she's
run
just
back
on
in
the phone, like, shut up.
Yeah, we're like, Mom, there's a car. It's on fire.
Phone.
She's like, I know, it's Dukes of Hazzard. There's a car on fire every week. Just go back in the front. I'm on the phone. We're like, no, you don't understand.
This is for real. It's a car.
Yeah, we had that.
It took a few minutes to get her though.
Yeah.
She was not having it, dude. She was fighting us on that.
And then she finally came out. And she's like,
oh man, okay.
That we had that time we got home, and those guys had broken in the house, and Mom like walked in on them, walked in the front door as they were going out the back window.
Dude, I barely remember that.
Yeah,
man.
that was one time. Then we had the time it was like New Year's or something like that. Mom and Dad tell this story about the bullet hitting the window. Remember?
No.
I think it was New Year's. I might be telling it wrong. New Year's, and they're sitting there, and it's midnight, and Inglewood in the early '80s, and there's gunshots going off, and all of a sudden you hear this, "Bob!" on the window, and they hit the deck. And my mom's crawling to the back to get the phone and shit, and she's picking up the phone, calling 911, and then Dad comes in, the champagne bottle that they had taken the little security wire off when the gunshots were going off and shit, and they went to look out the window, the top popped off, and that's what hit the window. But you know what I mean, like early 80s Inglewood, gunshots going crazy, and something hits the window. It's like,
right?
Yeah. That little area.
That neighborhood was a trip.
That neighborhood was a trip, man.
They stole our dog.
Yeah, our golden retriever.
We had the best dog.
Best dog, dude.
The best dog ever.
Best
and everyone
dog,
in the
best
neighborhood
name.
knew it. Yep.
Yeah.
And then one day we showed up, somebody had gaffled the dog.
Yeah, I got my bike stolen from there. It was a
I
lot
got
went down.
a couple times from there.
A lot went down at that house.
Yep.
But it's our first house, man. We moved to Mar Vista after that.
Hey,
and then
you know what's so funny? Carlos, our little brother, just texted me right now. He said, I got pulled over in Inglewood, and I gave the cop my license. So I'm looking for registration. The cop asked if I'm related to Ben Gonzalez, and then he let me go.
Shut the fuck up.
That's so funny, dude.
That is pretty funny. I wonder who it was.
Hilarious.
Like, are you related to the guys from Please Remain Calm?
Yeah. I don't want to burn the
bro.
dude, but I know one guy from Venice works Inglewood PD.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so maybe that's who it is. I don't know.
That's another perk of knowing people.
How funny. That's happened to me, though, dude. I got pulled over by CHP once, and I give him my shit, and I was for sure speeding, dude, so I was toast, right? I wasn't going to argue with him, and he's like, he named some hotel I performed at.
Yeah.
It was like some benefit that I did.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. And he was like, hey, I remember you, man. And he told me one of my jokes, dude. And he gave me my shit back. And I was like,
that's pretty funny.
Oh, thanks,
That's
bro.
pretty funny because the Chippies don't do that for anybody, man.
Oh, dude.
They gave me a ticket the first day of the pandemic, the shutdown. Nobody on the freeway.
Oh, yeah. That's
Nobody
right.
on the freeway, dude. I'm going to work at 6 a.m, and this guy gives me a speeding ticket on the 90. Nobody on the freeway. And I'm just like, are you kidding me, man? Come on, dude, But, yeah, occasionally, like the first time I ever got pulled over, you remember, right?
Yeah.
Giving you a ride to work in the van, in the Astro van. And we're going down Rose, and a cop pulls me over, a motorcycle cop. And I'm freaking heart beating a million miles a minute and looking for, insurance and all that stuff. I've never been pulled over in my life. I'm just like freaking having an anxiety attack damn near. And I was speeding because you were late to work. I'm trying to get you to work at the Santa Monica Mall. Was it Sam Ash that you worked at?
The warehouse.
The warehouse.
Yeah.
So, the cop comes up and, license registration. You know why I pulled you over? No, I don't, sir. You're going pretty fast, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, I really apologize, sir. Everything was sir, yes, sir, no, sir.
Yeah.
So he goes back. I'm thinking he's writing the ticket. And then he comes walking back up. He goes, hey, what's this sticker on the back of your van? My dad had a, CSFA union sticker. I go, oh, my dad's a firefighter. He works. Where does he work? Oh, he works at 58s. All right. Well, as a professional courtesy to your dad, I'm going to let you off with a warning. And I'm like, holy smokes. Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking I'm scot-free, It's my dad's van. Like 2 days later, man, dad comes home from work and he's like, come here. Did you get pulled over by Rose? And I'm like, oh, shit. That cop rode his bike because that's nowhere near where my dad's station is.
Nope.
He rode his bike all the way over to my dad's station and asked for him. And when he came down, he told him, hey, I pulled your son over. He was speeding, blah, blah, blah. But he was respectful. He didn't try to shy away from it. He didn't give your name out or anything. I asked, what the sticker was and stuff. So
yeah.
But went over there and told on me, which was fine. I mean, whatever, dude. Dad got his little fake pissed with me, but yeah, it's definitely one of when you catch the right person, a little perk of knowing people or being on the job.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But it don't always work, dude.
Hell no, it doesn't always work, dude.
That chippy gave me a nice ticket for speeding on an empty freeway.
Man.
In a pandemic when I'm going to work as a paramedic. But anyway. Anyways,
I got uncuffed once because they saw my turnouts in my car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is, man. Yeah. But hospital, like medical calls, man, I don't really have very many that I've never called 911 for anything.
No.
Even my ACLs, like I've had ACL repairs on both knees. My first one was at a Korn concert in a mosh pit of a Korn concert. I just remember stomping around and like dancing like crazy, and then somebody fell into my knee.
How old were you?
I was 25 or something like that, 24. Yeah. I think I was like 3 years on the job. So it was like 06. So I was 20.
See, that wasn't when we went because we sat.
Yeah.
In sensible seating.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was definitely fucking jumping around that night.
Corn and Stained.
And then walking back to the car, and then actually taking a step and feeling like my knee completely separated, and then going home and thinking like, holy shit, I wonder what the hell was that? And then waking up in the morning, my knee's twice the size it was. And like, holy shit. Dude. And then surgery, took myself into the ER, Marina Del Rey. And it's actually probably best that it happened off duty because it happened like fast, man. It happened like, the concert was a Saturday. I took myself in to the ER on Sunday.
Yeah.
I got referred to a orthopedist on Monday. Saw him Monday morning. Had an MRI Tuesday morning. Was back at his office getting it read Wednesday morning. And then he goes, well, you need surgery. How soon do you want to do it? I go, freaking right now. And he goes, all right, let me see what I can do. That afternoon, I was in surgery.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
That's
so
fast.
From Saturday to Wednesday, I was in surgery, and then it was just rehab for a few months.
What a healthcare system.
Yeah, right.
Best in the world. The first thing I remember going to the ER for either of us, was when you got bit by the dog.
Oh, next
by the
door,
neighbor's dog.
Stupid ass
the
Cocker
beast,
Spaniel.
The beast.
Oh,
so
I hated that
by
dog,
a
dude.
tiny bitch dog.
Well, what was
it? Our ball went over the fence?
Our ball went over the fence, and their front door has like a gate closer to like the
there was like
front,
a little walkway with a gate.
And there's a walkway down, so you got to go in the gate, walk down like a ways to like the length of the driveway to get to the front door, and the gate closes behind you. And I knocked on the door. I don't even remember the people's names, but it's the house that they tackled Mr. T on their front lawn.
Yeah.
And the dog is like snarling, this little tiny little nothing dog, but I was probably 8.
Yeah, something like that.
8 or something.
Yeah.
And he's and she's holding him with her foot. And then she's not even really paying attention. I'm watching this stupid dog get loose and then just start running at me. I turned. I'm like, I'm out. I'm running. It was like
you had shorts on, right?
It was like Indiana Jones. Yeah, it was like Indiana Jones, man. I'm like running for like to escape and slide through the gate, and that little shit latched on the back of my thigh, man, and my hamstring.
He dug in.
He dug in, dude. Pure skin.
Yeah, stitches, right?
I remember laying. I don't think I got stitches, but it got treated up. Probably a couple little butterflies. I don't think I got stitches.
Yeah.
But fuck rabies, shots and all that stuff.
Right.
I remember laying face down on Mom's back seat of the Pontiac.
That's right. I remember
the
that
Pontiac Sunbird convertible that you won on Wheel of Fortune.
It had no AC.
No AC, no FM radio.
Our mom won Wheel of Fortune, right? And she wins a car. And it's like, you think it's going to be awesome that you win a car on Wheel of Fortune? It comes totally stock.
Yeah.
It was an AM radio. There was no FM. There was no cassette.
Manual transmission.
Yeah. It was 5-speed.
No FM.
Yeah. No AC. There was nothing.
And we drove that car into the ground.
That
was a family car, dude. Yeah, for a decade, dude. Yeah,
we were winners.
Yeah,
rolling like winners.
It looked like a fancy headliner, but it was really just staples.
Yeah, right. Mom won Wheel of Fortune.
But yeah, man. That was like one of the first times I ever went to the hospital for anything, man. And then my knees, man. That knee I had done, and then this one, just 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Stupid ass slow motion pop of my ACL, skiing with some of the guys from the station. And I'm like, well, dude, we've been skiing since we were little. And I ski pretty regularly, man. I'm pretty freaking good on skis. And so we go, a couple guys from the station, they're snowboarding and stuff, and you fall a lot more on snowboards. And so I'm recording everybody, dude. I'm skiing backwards and flipping around and recording and laughing at everybody as they're falling and stuff like that. And we're getting ready to leave. And we're pretty much done. I fly down on my last run, and I'm waiting at the bottom for the guys to come down, and somebody on a snowboard scoots by me and bumps my skis just in the right spot where it like shifted my skis, and I lost my center of gravity, and I just fell over. I wasn't even skiing or doing anything at all. I was literally just standing there. And my skis got bumping. I went, whoa, 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 and I fell. And the way I fell, and I went to turn to like try to pop my ski off, and just turning and not being able to turn my foot because my ski, it just slow motion tweaked
Just
my knee
popped
and
it.
just I felt
That was your other knee, or the one that was repaired? Oh,
no,
okay.
that was my other knee, my good knee.
Too bad.
And so then I'm laying there like face down, like I can't believe I just popped my ACL. I knew it was done. And then I could hear my captain Chip, buddy Chip, come down, and he's like, "Danny, is that you? Hey, Danny, is that you?" And I'm just like, just trying to like will this pain away, you know what I mean? And he's like, "Oh man, you're all right, you're all right." And finally, I just like look up, and like I think I tore my ACL. Came down, same thing, man. Back to the hospital again. You know, I think I walked around for 2 or 3 days. Actually, was like walking okay. I thought I might be all right, and then nope, went and got an MRI.
Got checked, and that was it.
ACL, dude.
Yeah. When I was a kid, after the dog bite incident, I remember my first ER trip was burning my hand. I burned my hand on the tractor.
Exhaust.
Yeah,
that's right.
At North Venice, our parents used to be the presidents of our little league. Right. Yeah. Our dad was 2 years. I think the term was 2 years. So our dad was 2 years. Or no, it was every year, and he got reelected.
Yeah, you had to get reelected.
And then my mom was 2 years after him. So it was a 4-year term.
Yeah.
Where our household controlled the North Venice.
Even aside from them being president, though, it was just like we lived
we were
at
just
that
there
field,
all the time
man.
anyway. Yeah. So part of that, which I thought fucking sucked, was we had to maintain the field all the time.
Yeah.
But if my dad took it upon himself. I mean, there was not like gardeners or groundskeeper crew. Like we were the fucking groundskeepers at North Venice, and we'd just be up there every day, like when there weren't games, and like we'd have to fucking like cut the grass. Yeah. And like drag the dirt and water the dirt and water the field and all that shit. And so there was a tractor that you could use to cut the grass, and it had an attachment for to pull those chain link thingies. You know, like when
drag the field.
When you go between the innings of Dodger Stadium, there's those guys that pull that shit over the dirt, drag the dirt, make the dirt fresh, I guess, or whatever to play on, right? So we'd have to do that. So I'm driving that tractor, and I go to get off, and I just, for some reason, I grabbed the exhaust like it was a handlebar to hop off, and it was still hot. And when you grab something hot like that, your nerves, you squeeze on it. And so I squeezed on it, and I held it, and I had fucking 2nd-degree burns on the palm of my hand from that shit, dude. Yeah.
I remember watching that happen.
Yeah.
Hearing the sizzle.
The scream. Yeah. That was crazy. And it just always it would make me real resentful at North Venice because other kids were just playing, and it was like, dude, be good at least, because I had to fucking like suffer for that field, bro.
Yeah. You see
know
this?
what I'm saying? Like
this
you need
for you
like you're not gonna hustle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what's up, dude?
Yeah, stretch that out. Man. Other than that, I mean, really, the thought of calling 911 is just like, there's got to be another way. To me, you know what
exactly.
I mean? Like exactly. It would have to be like literally my last resort, or I have no way to.
Yeah, right.
But even like I had a syncope one time. Just I don't even know why, man. I honestly don't know why I had a syncope at home.
Or you did?
I did.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just like my only thought was like, no, I'm fine. I
had it twice. I had it near, I guess, because I don't think it completely went out, but I had one full. Yeah, good.
I think, but the point being, just like even that, I was like, okay, I'm not having a heart attack. You know what I mean? It's probably because of this.
What was yours though?
I think I was just tired. Like I had come off of like a 96, and it was a small list of different things that I figured contributed to it. Yeah, converged to make it happen. And I just basically I was exhausted, you know. what's the thing that the celebrities are always going out for? Exhaustion
fatigue,
and dehydration.
exhaustion.
It was exhaustion and dehydration. I'm pretty sure, dude.
Mariah Carey.
But even then, like of all the things that have ever happened to me, that's probably like the closest that I should, the closest one where I should have gotten checked out. Yeah. But even then, it was just like, no, I think I'm all right. But then sometimes that like I always tell people, man, if you have like risk factors or you have something that like that was me being 100% healthy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like not having any issues at all. But like I always tell people, especially older people, if you have something happen, and as much as I said I bitch about like showing up to a call and like you didn't need to call 911.
Yeah.
If you, I always have people apologizing for calling. You know what I mean? And ultimately, that's what I get paid for. You know what I mean? I get paid to run calls.
Right.
It's great, you know, to have a shift where you only run 1 or 2 calls or something like that. And that's when like, you know, the job like is like the best it can be for me when I'm like not having to do anything and still getting paid for the day.
For sure.
But ultimately, I'm there to run calls.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what makes the city money. You know, really, it's a revenue generator for the city. But also like that's what I got hired for, to sit around and wait for people to call. So if you are someone who has any kind of risk factors, or you're older, and it's your body talking to you, or it's something just completely out of the ordinary for you, you know, even if you're young and don't have any risk factors, if it's, you know, oh shit, I've got this chest pain, that's weird, you know, it might be indigestion. If you're worried about it, call.
Yeah.
Call.
This was definitely not a don't call 911 for anything show.
I would definitely much rather show up and realize that you didn't need 911, and then I educate you a little bit, and then you go see your own doctor. Then your mom calls and, oh, well, he's 35. He's had this chest pain all day and he just thought he was too young for it. And I'm working up a cardiac arrest. Yeah. You know what I mean? So definitely not saying don't call 911. That's not what we're saying. Yeah. But try not to call. No,
do whatever you can.
Do the best you can.
Yeah, WebMD, please. Okay, I fainted when I was 17, working at the warehouse, right? Oh, because not at work. But
they're like, Jesus, Ben, you're late. You're fainting.
Right. Hanging out with the manager from there at his pad. He like lived like in like the garage, like converted garage from behind his parents, right? Yeah. So, you know, like guys like that, you go over there, you fucking drink beers and shit, drink 40s or whatever, right? So I'm like sitting on the floor, drinking, smoking, you know, getting wasted or whatever. Yeah. And I just stand up, but I was sitting on the floor against the wall for like maybe half an hour or something, just sitting drinking that rush, just boop. And I just woke up on the floor and it was like, dude. And I'm like, what? Like it was like nothing to me, right? But it was like, that was the first time I ever hung out with those dudes. Yeah. They're all older than me, right? Because it was like the manager's homies or whatever. It was like all these old Santa Monica dudes and shit. Yeah. And so like, I was like a fucking clown. And she's like, oh, you can fucken party, bro. Like one beer, you fucking died and shit.
Yeah, man. It's embarrassing.
And then I had a near syncopal at an EMT school. All right. Because we went to ROP at Samo High, right? Yeah. So it was like a night school thing, basically at Santa Monica High School. And Chris, our cousin from the earring story of earlier, was actually in EMT class with us at that time. I don't even remember that shit.
I don't.
Yeah, he was in EMT school with us, fool.
I don't recall that at all.
Yeah, I don't think he took the exam, but he did class with us with Kevin Kinnan. Remember? Yeah. Double K.
Yeah, Double K.
Yeah, Chris was in that class with us.
He's retired now.
All right. So, anyways. So they used to live in Oakwood, and there was a street tamale guy that would sell tamales out of his car there every day. Yeah. And I used to eat those tamales. They were bomb. Yeah. Right? So I had street tamales. Yeah, I got a bad one, bro. And it starts hitting me in the middle of EMT class, right? And I'm like, shit.
You shit yourself unconscious?
Nah, bro. I get up, right? I'm like, I got to get to the bathroom. By the time I get to the hallway, it was like a slow crumble to the floor. It was like one of those paintings where I was like, ah. And then I'm just like laying on the floor, looking up right like a foot outside of the class, but they can't see me, right? And all I'm thinking is, don't let anybody, like I'm trying to not call 911 in 911 class. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, don't let anybody come out. I want to be okay. Fuck. fuck, and I finally get
You're
my shit
just
back
sweaty,
together. Yeah,
pale.
I get it together, and I get into the fucking bathroom, right? And then I'm cool and everything. But yeah,
just demolish the bathroom.
Sweating it that I was about to be a lesson. You know, Double K is gonna go open me up.
You're a story he tells all his next classes. Oh my
god, dude! Yeah, I was like that close to that shit happening to me, man.
Yeah, it's funny, man.
Yeah,
I had one time. I did have one time where I called for the cops because I came home. I did I don't know if you remember that Off Limits show I did, that stage show.
Yeah.
With like all the kids.
Those are kids, right?
Yeah, it was a kid. Yeah. It was like a kids variety show.
Yeah.
And there's a couple guys in there that have been in a bunch of stuff now. It's funny seeing them like.
That was the one with the kid from Rookie of the Year, right?
Yeah,
that's right. I remember that.
Oh, and the boys are all into Rookie of the Year right now.
No
I'm like,
shit.
You know, your daddy used to work with that guy. Yeah.
Ah.
Anyway, Thomas Ian Nicholas.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I remember that.
So we had rehearsal, and so I would hang out with there was a couple older kids. I was probably 15. There was a couple older kids, 17, 18.
Yeah.
And we used to, after rehearsal, we'd go and hang out and smoke weed or whatever.
Yeah.
And so we did that. And so then they dropped me off at home, and I show up to the house, and nobody's home, and I don't have a key or nothing, right? And so I climbed in through the front window, which I think was my bedroom at the time.
Yeah, it was.
But when I did that window was already open. And I was like, what the fuck? You know, like, why is this window open? So I climbed through the window. I walk in. Nobody's in there. I go like to walk to the kitchen. And I hear upstairs in your bedroom, coming from your bedroom, it sounded like papers flipping, like someone was flipping through a book. And I was like, what the fuck? Who is that? Pages flipping. And I go, Ben? And it stopped.
Right.
And I was like, what the fuck, dude? And I'm paused, like frozen in the like down at the bottom of the stairs. And then it was like panic, dude. Like I can remember tearing ass, also because I'm slightly faded. I can remember tearing ass through the house, like, ah! You know, that kind of like panic. Yeah. And I ran and grabbed a butcher knife, and I grabbed the phone, and it's a stupid red call box phone. Remember that we used to have?
Yeah, I
it
remember
looked
that.
like a fire department call box, right?
Yeah.
So here I am in the kitchen, dialing 911 with the stupid red light lighting up on the top of the call box, you know, and I got a butcher knife, and I'm like, I think there's somebody upstairs. The operator's staying home with me, and I'm just like peeking around the corner with this knife, like in a full panic, man. And then I don't know, a couple minutes go by, and I could see cop cars pulling up, or like a couple cop cars pull up.
Yeah.
And then I could see them walking up to the porch.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking to myself, like, I still have to run clear across the house where like the stairs are and everything, where if there is a murderer upstairs, he would be coming down right there, right? So I just kept thinking of like, it was like Al Bundy, man, when they went to Dumpwater, and he's like checking the apartment. I like ran, I ran clear across the living room, like, you know, to the front door, and opened the door, and the cops walk in, right? And I'm like, man, I think there's somebody upstairs, and I got the butcher knife and shit. They're like, all right, you know, and they pull their guns out, and I'm like, holy shit, this is real, you know? They all go upstairs, and they're like, LAPD, you know, come out, and they go through, and then now I'm thinking, I don't hear them like, you know, let me see your hands or nothing, so I'm like, oh shit, there must not be anybody up there. And then I started thinking about like, you know, do you have a bong laid out somewhere, dude? Like, what do we have in our rooms right now that I'm about to get busted for? And they come down and they're like, yeah, there's no one up there, man. And I'm like, oh shit, man, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I go up there, and it was like your window was open. And you used to write so much.
Yeah.
Well, you used to write so much. You had papers just with like
flapping
lyrics
around,
and shit on it. And it was just papers flopping around out there. And I was just like, holy shit, man, I'm never smoking weed again. That was a lie. All right. That's it, man. That's all I got.
We done did it. All right. So that was fun.
Yeah.
We're back.
And
we promise the good content, injury stories. It's coming back.
We've got some really, really great guests lined up for our next few episodes. Our next episode after this is we've got a husband and wife with something that happened to their kid that's kind of going to blow your mind. So stick with us. We're making it happen. You guys can follow me at DannyGonzo34 on Instagram and Twitter.
Follow the show at PRC Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Follow me at Ben9Humor, Ben number 9 Humor, like benign humor on Instagram and Twitter. And email us. Contact prcpod@gmail.com.
Yeah, I know we said this before, but if you guys know anybody that you think would be a good guest on the show, or if
that wasn't clear from the beginning,
yeah, if you yourself have an interesting story and you think it might be good to put on the show, give us a holler. Hit us up on the email.
Right on, and we always appreciate the 5-star reviews and ratings as well. And thank you guys for listening.
Later.
Yeah. Hey. All right. Hey. Yeah, I mean.
Let's take off.
Hey. Please do remain calm. About to run against it and with a little bit of soul, no time.